Hello everybody, my name is Ron Hall with Rancho Cordova Arts. Welcome back to another Rancho Cordova Arts art tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the art of Keith Haring and hopefully create some Keith Haring inspired artworks. This piece here is a laser etching done on wood, and I had this last year in the remastered show, and it is titled Love is Love. And with Keith Haring, he has a lot of simple shapes but very recognizable and now very iconic images. He grew up in Pennsylvania but later moved to New York City, where he went to a visual arts school and studied art. He's very inspired by Andy Warhol and graphic image design. He also studied semiotic images, which is essentially creating language with images or symbols. And you can kind of think of him as bringing cave art back. He did his messages with the use of images. Very, very rarely were there any words involved. And he kind of got started in the New York subway system, where there would be advertisements, and in between the advertisements, when they didn't have an advertisement up, there would just be these big black pieces of paper, and he would create images with chalk on those. And that's how he got his start, and he just progressed from there. Like many artists, like Basquiat, he was noticed within the New York art scene and slowly got into galleries. He also had a business called the Pop Shop, and that was criticized by some art critics for being too commercial. But like Andy Warhol, Keith Haring thought that art and the showing of art were all part of the art culture. He wasn't trying to sell out or necessarily make money. He wanted art to be seen. That's why he chose the New York subway system. It was kind of a gallery space where his art could be seen by everyone, not just the affluent. And with the Pop Shop, his art could be purchased not just by the affluent, by all people, whether it was buttons or t-shirts or posters. So today we will talk about creating simple images and you being inspired to create your own Keith Haring type piece. All right, for today's supply list, I'm going to leave it wide open. I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm going to probably create with just Sharpie on white paper just to kind of go with it and see what I come up with. But for more finished pieces, you can use bright colored paper. You can go outside and write on a sidewalk or street, as long as you're safe, and just use chalk. I mean, that's what he got started with, Keith Haring. Later on, if I want to build up and do some paintings, Keith Haring did big murals and other things with just paint and using just a flat brush. Keith Haring was very intuitive. He didn't have a script or a plan or notes. He just went with it. His ideas and messages had meaning to him of love, politics, injustice in the world. He talked a lot about AIDS and having people just be looked at as themselves, and just love is love. So you create what's in your heart and what you feel and the message you want to convey, and just create simple shapes, intuitive and fun yet recognizable. So he used a lot of white on black and black on white, and then other times he used very vibrant colors. And we'll kind of explore those today in this tutorial. So this is an example of Keith Haring art. This is a dog, very iconic, and this is a shirt I own. And you notice it's just very simple shapes, but you can really recognize what the intended purpose of this is. And then rather than language, he would do little lines, and that would indicate like a dog barking, or he would have people with little lines showing motion. And so he very rarely used words in his messages. So just simple shapes, very recognizable, very iconic, and it just pops because it's a black image with the white outline, and then he would also do white with the black, and then also very, very colorful pieces, but always outlined and always pop. He was kind of the new wave of pop art, following in the footsteps of those before him, like Andy Warhol. So we will take a look at my first attempt at just going with an intuitive approach of just kind of creating as I went. So I'll be right back. All right, this is my first attempt of just drawing and creating without any sense of, a product, just going through the process. And I just did some cats and some various fish. This is kind of dreamlike. Could be a cat's nightmare. Who knows? But just fish, cats, little designs. He liked to fill in space sometimes. Sometimes he kept it real clean with just a single image, like the dog shirt I showed you. Or other times he would fill in with little designs. So I got little fish, cats, fish, bigger cats, and kind of dreamlike, but also just interesting with some little messages in there. What those are, I don't know. It just popped out of my head. So this is kind of a lime green paper with just black pastel is what I chose to use. I've been liking to use pastel to outline things lately, ever since the Basquiat works that I showed you. So first attempt of just going with it, and it's just kind of doodle art, not really filling in the space. You let the outside shape just kind of tell the story. I did do a couple eyes. A lot of times Keith Haring wouldn't have eyes. He would just have the simple outline of his shapes that he was showing. All right, I'll do some more drawings now. Okay, I've chosen to use just a simple piece of white paper and a Sharpie. I've got a pad underneath just because sometimes Sharpie bleeds through. And I'm just going to start creating some simple lines, and I'll kind of show you the progress as I go. This is not pre-planned, it's just popping into my head. I'm not going to lie, I do have some ideas, but I'm just going to let it go. And we all have ideas, whether they're in the front or way back deep, but grab those ideas and create something fun. I'll kind of do a step-by-step and show you as I go. So I think I'm going to design a Keith Haring inspired cat. What the background will be, I don't know. I think I'm going to make him in the kind of like the dog. So it's just a simple shape, and I'm just start off with a single line. I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'll kind of progress and try to connect all the lines and see what I come up with. All right, I've got some basic lines out. So I've got the top, I've kind of made it longer, and got some basic leg shapes. So for this one, it's more rectangular, not so much angled, and I'm kind of showing that as a back leg. So I'll probably connect the tail and some ears and head, figure out how I'm going to do that. So just very basic, simple, but it will tell the story of what the image is. We'll be back as I connect all the lines. All right, as you can see, I've connected the lines. I've got the tail, and I'm having the tail point inward, and it kind of draws the eye back to the cat. I've got some ears and the whiskers, and that really paints the picture of what this is. So kind of thinking I might draw something like an Egyptian cat. So that will give me my background. So I'll play with that and see what I come up with. All right, I've added some other things. So I've got a pyramid, and like the dog barking, I've got some lines coming off. I just remember from art history that the pyramids used to actually have gold on top, if I recall correctly. And I've got like an Egyptian eye, and then rather than the makeup, I kept it real simple and just had a little line. So I think I'm going to do some Egyptian type, I don't know what you'd call them, design down here, and we'll see how that goes. So just kind of building our piece out. I don't know what the message is, but I'm just having fun. All right, I've kind of filled in some new designs. I did some, in my view, some Egyptian designs down here, just some other designs. It kind of creates a frame. You don't have to do that, but just creates kind of a framework of our Egyptian cat, pyramid, and the Egyptian eye. and just a fun piece of just creating, kind of intuitive, with some ideas in the back of my head, but it was fun. I'll think of something else to do. I'm kind of in a cat mood, as I am in most of these, so we'll see what I come up with. This time I chose to use kind of lime green construction paper with oil pastel, and I really find with oil pastel I can get my lines even more straight than a Sharpie for whatever reason. It just kind of lays down flat. So I've got my basic cat. This time I think I'm going to go a little more whimsical, maybe have some fish dancing around or figure something out. So I will keep playing, and again, just simple lines, and I just kind of all went in one motion as I kind of developed my character, drew it out. I think the whiskers and the ears obviously set the tone for what this is supposed to be. So I will keep playing and show you what I come up with. All right, I really added to the piece. I've got some fish kind of leaping over the cat. Little circles indicate water bubbles. I've got a little bit of water, and then this is kind of land, and so it looks like the fish are kind of teasing the cat. So I'm not sure if the cat's happy about this or he's just waiting for something to happen. So kind of got a rhythm going with that cat. I think I will move on into maybe creating a painting with it. So we will see what I come up with. Hopefully you're getting some ideas in your creative minds of simple shapes and images that you would like to convey for your piece or pieces. All right, we'll be back and see what I develop. All right, well, I decided to go outside in the spirit of Keith Haring and just use some chalk and just draw out some random images as cars drove by, looking, what the heck is that guy doing? But here is just some more images that I created with simple shapes. Yay! Oh, you guys approve, huh? Well, I'm going to go back inside, and I think I'm going to progress into painting this, so I will show you what I come up with. So, welcome back. This is the painting I came up with, very Keith Haring inspired. Used bold black lines, bright acrylic paint, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it kind of tells a dreamlike story, and kind of went with the different drawings that I played around with today to come up with this piece. So you can create your own Keith Haring piece, whether it is a chalk drawing or ink on paper, whatever markers you want to use or play with, whatever surface you want to use or play with. The creativity is only limited by your imagination. So, and I know you all have great imaginations out there. So with that, I will leave with saying stay well, stay safe, and stay creative out there. Thank you.